Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. Today is the 19th, Monday the 19th. On Monday. For here for us, it's a rainy Monday. Anyway, it's probably remnants of that hurricane that they had that kind of went out to sea a little bit. That's coming in near the east coast of the United States. It's just kind of touching us a little bit. It's giving us a lot of rain here. Anyway, we're going to take a look here. Over in China and the Philippines, there's a disputed area in around the shoals of the Spratly Islands, and they're constantly, the two sides, the Philippines and China, are constantly aggravated with one another, being in that region. And so they said a little while ago, they said, hey, we're going to settle down a little bit. We're going to find our peace here. We're not going to do this kind of stuff anymore. It says the two nations had agreed to try to ease tensions and manage the disagreements at sea, but it's falling apart. China says right now that the Philippines vessels deliberately collided with the Chinese vessel in the South China Sea. So they're ramming each other's ships again. What can I say? I mean, this is a this is a real hot spot, and it's kind of connected to the Taiwanese Strait. It's like not really connected physically in that area, the South China Sea and the Taiwanese Strait. They're two different things, but they're kind of connected they're involved in the same issue, basically. And this is a very much disputed area in China, and in the world. I mean, a couple of years ago, the Court of The Hague, I think it was, said that there's freedom of navigation because they didn't recognize those Spratly Islands that were created by China by dredging the floor of the ocean as being, because they weren't there before. Those islands weren't there. Suddenly China made those islands, and the islands appeared out of nowhere. Well, they were there before, but they were underneath the water where you couldn't see them. They were just underneath the water. There was shoals there of sand. And Chinese brought their ships in, dredging ships, and they lifted the sand up above the sand so that they made an island out of nothing, basically, which is very ingenious, Now, the United States, in Ukraine, the United States says that they're blocking authorization for Ukraine to strike Russia with Storm Shadow missiles. Well, if they're blocking the Storm Shadows, they're probably going to be blocking the other long-range missiles, too. There's several of them. I think what's the newest one called? A Jax or something like that? Anyway, and there's ATACMS, and there's a number of them that are like, they're not real long-range missiles, but they're not short-range missiles either. They're kind of these medium-range that'll fly for, I don't know, maybe 200-300 miles and carry a decent-sized warhead. And so they're kind of blocking these, I guess. If they're blocking the Storm Shadows, they're probably blocking the others as well. Why would they do that? Why would they block those? Because Ukraine could use them to reach deep inside Russia, and it might be a huge provocation in this whole thing, And so, but they're giving them these missiles. When are they going to give them the green light? That's my question. It says U.S. blocks authorization. It might tell in this article a little bit more. It says Washington is effectively blocking Britain's authorization for Kiev to use Storm Shadow missiles on Russian territory amid the Biden's concerns about escalating the war. Well, of course it would escalate the war. It says UK is awaiting approval from the United States before giving the Ukrainians the green light to use their missiles on Russian territory. However, a source within the UK government said the request was submitted to the system over a month ago, and there has been no response yet. So I guess it's all up to the United States when and where and how they use these. What would I call these? Anyway, Now, Moscow says the Ukraine has struck a third bridge over the Siem River in Russia's Kursk region. So they're knocking out these bridges in the Kursk region. That's where they went across into Russia. In this Hail Mary pass, Russia is attacking deep inside Ukraine, and they're spearheading a really strong offensive, which they still are. I see all of this as effectively, I think what they were doing is when they moved into Russia, Ukraine, they probably thought to themselves, hey, you know what? Russia perhaps will withdraw troops from their front lines in order to protect their own motherland. And also, they wanted to create this buffer zone that they're talking about, a buffer zone. But in my mind, to be an effective buffer zone, wouldn't they have to have it all the way across down their whole border, not just in one little area? Because Russia should go around that buffer zone, you know. Anyway, it's a very interesting situation that's going on here with Ukraine attacking deep inside Russia. Now they're blowing up these bridges. They've struck a third bridge. Effectively, this is, I think, part of their strategy in order to hold these positions inside Russia for Ukraine, you know. Now, it says here that Ukraine offensive is a huge strategic error in this article from The Hill. It said Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has proven himself as a master of the political stage, a gifted... Anyway, they're talking about here that this was a strategic blunder, they say. It says this reckless gambit is more akin to a desperate stunt worthy of a second-rate actor than a seasoned statement. I don't know. I tend to think that this was more well thought out than they think it was. But I don't think that it is maybe not having the desired effect, you know. If they could have got Russia, if Russia had have said, hey, you know what, our country's being attacked, you know, and let's withdraw troops and bring troops back, and then so they pulled troops from the front line, if they had have, and tried to move them over to Kursk, you know, and then it would have been like a diversionary sort of a thing, you know what I mean? If it had happened that way. And I don't think it's happening that way, because look here. It says Ukrainian families with children are ordered to leave the eastern city of Pokrovsk amid Russian advances. 53,000 people are in this city, and the Russians are advancing on it rather quickly. And I think this was the thing. I think that if these troops had have pulled, let's just say, for argument's sake, these troops had have pulled out of this region and went back to fighting Kursk, then this wouldn't be happening like it is, this heavy advance. But I don't think it's happening that way. The Russians, in other words, the Russians are coming in and they're biting down deep into Russia, into Ukraine. Okay, so they're starting to really bite deep. So Ukraine, instead of meeting them on practical terms and trying to stop them there where they're biting deep, Ukraine went back over here, back around behind them, and took part of Russia, hoping that they would let off the bite and swing their head around to bite back in Kursk. But they didn't. They're still biting down just as hard, if not deeper, and they're having to take these people, including 4,000 children in this eastern Ukraine city, and they're having to get out of the way because Russians our troops are pressing toward the city. And it said the head of the city's military administration on Monday stressed again that civilians should leave as fast as possible. It says they have a week or 2 weeks, no more, he said, to leave and get out of this area. They need to evacuate at least 1,000 people a day, he said, but only 500 or 600 people a day are currently leaving. So they got real problems there. with the Russian advance. Now, in other stories we got going on, right over here in our country, when I say our country, I'm talking about, I consider all of North America, Canada and the United States and Mexico to be our side of the world. This is where we live, over here. So now we're switching from Asia and the Asian continent, we're switching over to the North American continent over here. So there's a powder keg happening right here in our country, in the massive security presence on display in Chicago. Signs of trouble, big signs of trouble. But they're trying to ready themselves for any eventuality that could occur. Here's a picture of a Chicago police monitor in a protest ahead of the Democratic National Convention, which comes on August 18th, 2024. That's when, I guess, when this picture was taken. And the convention runs August 19th through August 22nd. So they're only a day in advance of the convention. So that must have been yesterday. They were there on their police bikes. You know, I think police bikes are a great idea, guys. You know, I mean, you want to talk, they can see everything, and they can move fast through the city streets and stuff, because I think, aren't these bikes electrical, or at least some of them are, and they've got, it just gives them an all-around heads-up ability rather than a car. In a car, they're, I don't think they can move as fast and getting around small and tight places and things as quick in a car as they can on a bike. But look at all the fuel they save, and all of the, a car is so much larger than a bicycle, you know, and it's good exercise. It keeps them in shape, because you'll find that these bike officers, they might get a little bit chubby, little bit, but not too much, you know, because the biking will keep it off, you know, and they're generally probably in better shape than the ones who sit in the car all day, working their way back between Dunkin' Donuts and, you know, you've all seen them, some of them. They get out of their car and they walk 50 feet and they're huffing and puffing. They're not going to be able to chase somebody down on the street. Anyway, just saying. You know, that's what donuts, too many donuts will do for you, and too much sitting. You know, you get up and active. This is a good thing, to get up and active. And bikes, I think that they save the environment, they save the fuel, they save, I mean, a bike only weighs 50 pounds. What does a car weigh? 4,800 pounds? Great, you know. Anyway, guys, what we got here? Close. Hit close. We'll give it a second or two. It should close up so we can get our page. So we got our silver price today, $29.28. It's up 26 cents on the day so far. It's getting up close to $30 again. It's creeping back, you know, from being hit when that little market thing that we had happened when on the Japanese carry trade, you know, remember? That just shows you how vulnerable this market really is. Anyway, we're looking at $29.28 today. It's up 26 cents. Taking a look at our cryptocurrency today, we're looking at Bitcoin at 58,533, Ethereum at 2581, and XRP at 58 cents. Well, 57.9 cents. Come down just a little bit while we were talking. Taking a look at our markets here. The S&P 500 is up 22 points at 5,576. The Dow Jones is up 163 points. It's cracked above 40,000 again, 40,823. And our crude oil is down 83 cents at 75.82. I don't think this stuff is over, that between Iran and Israel. I think we're in a little period right here, a lull period. Now look at that oil price coming down 83 cents to 75.82. Do you realize what a tight hold that could be on the oil if this war develops into a regional war between Israel and Iran? What that could do? The Strait of Hormuz is shut down for bringing oil through that region, oil out from Saudi Arabia and places. If there's a big fight going on and they're blowing up oil tankers and they're shutting down the Persian Gulf and everything, and it just tight. And I'm telling you guys right now, you might have to pay double or even triple for your gasoline, and you might have to wait in line to get it for 4 hours in a line. And when you finally get there, they say, oh, even at these new prices, I don't know, $8 a gallon in the United States. Can you imagine that? Even at $8, I'm sorry, our tanks just ran out. The last guy just filled up, and we got to wait for our next truck to deliver them. Well, the guy says, well, I waited here 3 hours to fill my car. They say, sorry, but you're going to have to come back tomorrow. Be here at 8 o'clock in the morning. You got to get there at 6 o'clock, because when you get there at 6 o'clock, there's already a line of 50 people in front of you. How quick are they going to drain the tanks again? This is the kind of thing we might be facing with gasoline if Israel and Iran and the United States really mix it up over there. And they could mix it up. I heard that Iran's working on trying to get nuclear weapons and stuff. Can you imagine what they could do to the oil fields out there if they get full exchange of whatever they're going to do, even if it's conventional. It's just be oil field fires everywhere over there, and you can't get nothing out. All you got then is your fracking oil, which America is a big oil provider. They'd have to pull all of their oil in for themselves. They have to use it for America. You know, and yeah, I mean, with a bit of work, it's more expensive oil, the fracking oil, because they got to go down in there and they got to pressurize those wells somehow. Whereas, you know, in countries like, you get in these other countries where they got really easy oil to get, like Russia's got easy oil, the Persian Gulf has got easy oil. Those are the only places on earth where there's really easy oil. Over here, we used to have easy oil back when Standard Oil first came in, and they used to drill an oil well and it'd come gushing out of the ground. Now we got to frack it. It's not easy oil. Here in Canada, we got tons of oil, but it's hard oil again. It's in sand, and they got to melt it out of the sand somehow. It's called tar sands. We got one of the biggest oil reserves on earth right here in Canada, but it's hard oil. It's very hard oil. It's one of the hardest oils out there. You know, Venezuelan oil's hard oil. They're hard to get. I mean, hard to get and expensive. That's the thing. See, the Venezuelan oil, the problem they got is it's thick like paste, and they got to mix it with other oils and stuff. You know. So where's the easy oil? Saudi Arabia's got the really easy oil, and so does Russia. But the Saudi Arabian oil, you know, it all comes down through the Persian Gulf, where they got this war going on, or could escalate into a war which would cut it off. You know. Bonds and rates today, we're looking at falling yields all the way across the board. A sea of red. Red is not bond yield prices going down, it's going up. So if these yields fall, that means it's bull market right now. They're buying. They're buying in right now. Who's buying in? I don't know. But it's all sea of red. So in other words, they're all buying all the way down the yield curve. And, you know, we're looking at a 10-year yield dropping 3.6 basis points to 3.85. The U.S. 30 years at 4.1 has dropped 4.3 basis points. Taking a look at our dollar index today, it's at 101.95 and it's dropping today. Being compared against the euro, and it's still declining. And the euro is 60% of this dollar index is like the euro. And then the other basket of currencies, is a few other things like I think it's the Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, a number of others. But they don't make up as big a part of this dollar index as the euro does. So is the euro doing that good? Because I thought it was a piece of junk. But it's much better. It's doing better than the dollar because it brought the dollar down from 104 around to 101.95 now. And how much lower will it go? It fell a half a penny today alone at 101.95 and falling. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. And have a great day. Bye-bye.